Like most people who play career mode, I mostly play manager mode. Thing is though, player career mode has had a few changes recently, but is it now better than manager mode? No, actually I think the total opposite. Player career mode is basically dead. Hear me out, but really, it is almost pointless to play at the moment. Stuff doesn't make sense, there's barely anything to do, and worst of all, it's actually quite boring. I still remember my first time playing a player career mode. It was actually a Beer Pro save back on PES 11 or 12, and it was legitimately amazing for me to try. Back then, you would start out your career playing reserve matches, which had the real reserves from the team that you played as well as other ones around your division. Then you'd work your way onto the subs bench. Eventually you'd start starting the matches. I remember rescuing Sampdoria from the relegation zone in Serie A and basically replicating Paul Gascoigne's Italy spell. It really speaks a lot that I still remember it nearly 15 years later. However, I also played a few hours of player career mode before making this video, and I can barely remember any of it despite it being this week. I think the best thing about player career mode is rebuilding careers. I've done videos about this with Anthony Martial and Dele Alli, so some of you might know what I'm talking about. But this year, everything is basically the same as FC25, FC24 and FIFA 23. It doesn't matter if you want to make Anthony or Jadon Sancho win the Ballon d'Or, or if you want to try and build a guy up from the Indian League to be the next Jude Bellingham. You're doing the exact same three things in every save, and that's why it's so forgettable. If you compare what you can do in player career mode to something like Ultimate Team, you'll probably notice where EA's priorities are. Speaking of Ultimate Team, I'm also going to talk about today's sponsor quickly, LDShop.gg. If you're like me and you subscribe to the channel, the chances are that you play a lot of career mode but don't really enjoy Ultimate Team that much. It might be that you prefer using the good players you've developed in career mode rather than having to spend £1 bazillion to actually buy the new Ronaldo card. Well, that's where LDshop.gg come in. They are a safe and reliable game top-up site created by LD Player Emulator with an excellent 4.8 review on Trustpilot. They're cheaper than other platforms too, and if we compare some of the prices here, you can see how cheap 500,000 coins is. The top-up system is actually really easy to follow too. All you have to do is give them some of your verification codes, and within an hour, you'll have the amount of coins that you bought safely transferred into your account. To make things even better, you get an extra discount using the link that's in the description, so make sure you check that out if you're interested in buying your Ultimate Team. And thank you to LDshop.gg for sponsoring today's video. Anyway, let's get back to talking about player career. Saying there's only 3 things to do is not an exaggeration either. On day 1 of your save, you'll have a bunch of cool stuff to do. You can look at what target you want your agent to work on. You can look at your personality, change your playstyles, change your squad number. But then after that, it just becomes advanced day. Play the training, play the match, advance the day, train, match, advance, and so on and so on. Manager mode has transfers, training, academy, youth tournaments, scouting, matches and tactics, but player career is just so lacking in comparison. Objectives and the agent were supposed to be big new features that made the mode feel great, but instead you get Real Madrid asking you to make 100 slide tackles in a season with 80% accuracy for a contract. What a strange request for them to want. I get someone wanting you to win a trophy or play 90% of matches while having a rating over 8.0 or something like that, but why would Real Madrid care about how many slide tackles a player in the Bundesliga is making every season? While the agent exists but is just poorly implemented, there are actually a few features that I think are just huge misses altogether. Let's start with customization, and this should be huge for footballers. Maybe brand deals, haircuts, position changes, new boots. It could be something that tied in with a season pass too, but no. You have the same customization that existed back on FIFA 08 that lets you tuck in a shirt, it lets you maybe change your boots and wear a wristband if you're really interested in doing that. To make it even worse, there are actually 2 menus in here that do the exact same thing, except one just has a kit number changer. Why? Legit, what is the point of having this menu and this menu at the same time? Why not have some kind of way for your agent to say Adidas will pay you to wear their boots, or tie personalities into customization? You can unlock a crazy combination if you somehow change Joe Bellingham into Mario Balotelli, get some cool hairstyles, or maybe dye your hair blue or something. I do have to say that this problem is in basically all of the EA games that I've played. The rally game has decent car customization, as does the F1 game, but on one of the F1 games, they went big on having a space to customize that people could look at while you're basically in a lobby. It meant their season pass would then unlock a sofa, a bookcase, a pair of headphones, which really was bad when it used to be liveries, helmet designs, and new sponsors for your car. But still, it feels like a new missed opportunity that customization is so lacking in player career mode. Then again, the rumour for years is that EA has just been months away from adding an open world online system like NBA has. This could be such a game changer for player career mode. If they somehow linked it to pro clubs and maybe manager mode, maybe even ultimate team, it could breathe a new life into this mode. An open world where you can train with other people, then play a drop-in match online and as pro clubs, and then use the same player inside your player career mode save to play an authentic match in a league. It could be so fun and give them so many possibilities to extend the mode. However, the true reason I don't think that I'm going to play another minute of player career mode isn't to do with anything we've talked about so far. It is the AI. It is well known that the AI isn't great at playing FC26, especially if you have it on the simulation game type, but it is just embarrassing to try and watch it play FC26. Basically, if you refuse to play as a box-to-box midfielder, your team will just get stuck. If you're a striker, you can watch your defenders not try to defend, so every game ends with you conceding 5, but probably scoring 5, and drawing the match 5-5. If you play as a defender, you're basically playing solo at the back, so every game ends 0-0 because the AI strikers just cannot attack. It is just such a shame that you can't be a piece of the machine that gets the wins. You have to be the main man at both ends of the pitch, otherwise the results are just crazy. Let's go back to the start of this video. I was talking about that Sampdoria save. In that save, I played as a playmaker on the left. You could beat a player, and you could put a cross in for Pazzini. He'd probably try and head it in. You could ping the ball inside to Cassano, and he would try and do something as well. They'd both be able to make their own chances. Sure, defending wasn't perfect, but the AI was better at it than FC26. So how can we be saying that about a game that is now 13 years old? So yeah, overall, this year's player career mode probably isn't worth your time, unless you like really repetitive, pretty boring gameplay and don't like doing too much when you play the game. It is a shame because I have loved playing player careers in the past, but until something in this mode changes to actually represent what it's like to be a footballer, just like manager mode at least tries to represent being a manager, I just don't think that player career mode is worth trying. Who knows, maybe 2K Sports will come out with an amazing player career RPG in that game that's been leaked for about 4 or 5 years that they've rumoured to be working on. Or maybe EA will actually make changes next year because so few people are actually playing player career this year, but I can't see either of them happening anytime soon. Thank you for watching this video, and thanks to the sponsor, and thanks to every channel member who also helps support the channel. If you could subscribe if you enjoyed this content, and check out my other videos I've made on FC26 already, I would really appreciate that. But thank you for watching. I'll see you soon, cheers, and goodbye.